Hi everyone and happy Monday. I decided that I would colour this page with a pencil that I can sharpen to quite a good point. So I have grabbed my Black Widows. Sorry, I put that spider away for those that aren't happy. I've got the spider set out. I've got a couple of other sets, the scorpion and the cobra, in case I need them, but the spider's got a nice range of colours, so it might be enough for us. I haven't really planned what I'm doing with this page. I've done it quite a few times. I think it's for Enchanted Forest. Not sure. But I thought I would just sort of get going and see what happens. I'm thinking maybe just bright and colourful, unconventional colours, some unconventional colours, and we'll see what happens. Oh, I've got some fluff, hang on, flying around, there we go. Okay, so I tend to, with this sort of design, start in the middle and work out. I don't know if that's a good plan or not really. It doesn't matter, does it? I don't think. Now we have these little bugs here, and I'm actually thinking maybe I should actually start with those and just colour those in and then see how that makes me feel about other colours, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to start, in the Black Widows there's actually a colour called Ladybug. There we go, let's get the light on it. So I think we'll use that. Now I can't remember, I'm going to just sharpen it, whether ladybirds have completely red bodies or whether this bit in here is black, but I'm going to do it all red, I think, and really just put the colour down quite hard. I think make it show up. Now I'm thinking actually with this particular page it's quite difficult to do an awful lot of shading. It is possible, but it's very fine work. So, and that's I think why we've got a slightly zoomed in version and maybe the outside bits chopped off a bit, because if it had been shrunk to fit on the page it would have been a little bit too small to deal with. I remember it being quite small on in the original book, which is bigger than this. So maybe that's the reason. So I'm not going to worry too much about shading really. Now the rest of it I'm going to do in black. And the black is called Black Widow. So the spots. Now ladybirds don't have to be this colour. Or ladybug. Do you call them ladybugs? Is that an American thing? I don't know. They come in orange and yellow. Some are black with red spots, so you can do them lots of different ways. It's quite fun to look them up. I don't think many people get scared of them, so I think if you look them up it might not be too nasty. I know some people aren't keen on spiders and things. If you look them up it can be a bit scary for those that don't like them. For me it's snakes, not spiders, that's scary. But I think maybe we all have something. I don't know, maybe we don't, some people might not. But there's our little ladybird. Or pair. I mean, this is a symmetrical design. It's not a four-way, the symmetry just goes down the middle. So anyway, that's that. So I'm thinking we have the rest is leaves basically, but I think we could do it all greens and browns and make it very leafy looking and foresty, or we could go a little bit different and use lots of different colours. If I do it completely random I think it might look a bit odd. I'm not very good at just doing things completely random, and we've just done that really conventional colours. I think shall I step out of my comfort zone or shall I not? I'm going to start with something. I'm going to start with the stinkbug, which is a sort of brownish colour, goldish colour, and do these bits while I think. Because it's not a conventional colour, but it's not an unconventional colour, if that makes sense. It's not green, but it's also not pink. So, and I know leaves can be pink, but it's sort of coppery, copper birch is sort of, well, purpley. So, it's a tricky one. But I don't want it to just look like a big mishmash, which can happen with my pictures if I use too many random colours, and that's what's holding me back with the, you know, using sort of every colour in the box, as it were. So I'm thinking maybe I need to be a little bit restrained. There we go. So as you can see, it's just block colouring here. I've not done anything different. I know as soon as I grab a green, that'll be me stuck with a green palette. I'm trying to push myself away, but on the other hand, towards. Let's do greens and browns. This is the Foxy Brown. Might be a bit small. We're not very close in, are we? Should I come in a bit? I don't want to forget that you're there and not leave you out of shot. That's the only thing. I'm wondering whether I should really only do half of this to make it a bit more interesting, but on the other hand, if I do that, I'll forget what colours I used. My way of colouring would not be to do all the top half and then all the bottom half, or else I would just, oops, have no clue where I was at. Another question you may be thinking about with this one is background. Do you do a background? Well, it's so intricate trying to get something in that background. I think unless you went over at the end with a light sort of pastel, but sometimes I've grabbed a green. This is the is it toxic green? Yeah. Sometimes when we do a background, it actually stops the foreground looking so good. I've seen many pictures, including my own, where people have tried to put a background on after they finished. Might be a pale blue, a pale yellow, pale pink, something like that, and all their bright purples and pinks, blues, whatever it is, sort of sink back a little bit and don't pop off the page in the same way they would with a white background. So don't feel you've always got to do one. You know, I see some people very often doing black backgrounds, and yes, that can sometimes help the colours pop off the page, but actually sometimes I think white just looks better. You know, it can depend on the colours you're using, but even then, sometimes white is a bit more easy on the eye sometimes, if you know what I mean. It's a bit more restful, calming, maybe. Maybe black is, I don't know, for some people. So yeah, I've grabbed the green, I've gone in, I've done it, I've gone conventional. I've done this page I'm not sure, I've done it a couple of times. It's in my comparison flip through video. I'm trying to remember. I know one time I did it in like fine liners, the Staedtler tripless fine liners. I'm going to do these all the same. And did it in all sorts of bright colours. I really didn't like it very much. It was a bit of an experiment because of all the thin areas, small details. I thought it would be easier in pen. But I've only got, I think I had 15. I don't know if I do now. I've run some out. So I didn't have a big range of colours. And they were all really bright, primary thick colours, tertiary colours. You know, bright red, dark blue, dark green, and I just didn't really like the colours. So I wasn't happy with that. But you know, it's sometimes it's personal taste, isn't it? With colour. I used to say I wasn't really a pinky person, didn't really use pinks very much, but that doesn't mean to say that when I looked at pink pictures I didn't like them. I did. So, but now I found, since colouring World of Flowers, I've sort of embraced pink a little bit more. I found shades of pink that I like, and pink combinations with other colours that I like as well, and that's helped me. But yeah, green's probably my favourite colour at the moment, but it changes. I can't see pink ever becoming a favourite though. It's, yeah, but it's interesting, isn't it? My dad's favourite colour's green, always has been. My mum likes purple. My sister used to like purple. Don't know that about now, whether she does. I don't know about my husband. I think I like yellows as well, not to colour with. Quite scary colouring in yellow. Yellows can be lovely and warming. You know, think daffodils, think crocuses, sunshine. Although I don't like the sun being out in the sun, it's still a nice colour. So yeah, it's actually Monday today when I'm recording this, but it's not the Monday of this week of the calendar. Let me see, are we a week ahead? Yeah, I'm just a week ahead. So yeah, I need to record a little bit in advance. I wouldn't have time to record and edit and get it up for you on the same day. So we do a little bit in advance. But yeah, it's still Monday. It's been a flipping stressful Monday morning already. But there's my son. 5 minutes before he leaves, he goes, "Oh, where's my homework?" Oh, mad, frantic, searching and dashing about. But luckily, I mean, they're at college. Teachers don't really worry if they don't hand it in. But he found it in the end, minutes spare. Oh, heart racing at 5 to 8 in the morning. Oh. But I'm going to try and sit down with him this afternoon and help him with some work. He finds it quite hard to concentrate, and I thought maybe if I sat with him it might be a little bit easier, I don't know, and sort of kept him concentrated. He needs to do a practice exam paper, so maybe if I can sort of talk him through it rather than him writing it down. That's my theory anyway. Okay, I'm going to zoom out a little bit because I'm going to do, whoops, these ones next. And I quite like the idea of doing those in quite a yellowy colour. So I'm going to use the egg yolk colour. I need to sharpen it. Everything needs sharpening today. But yeah, I was getting a little bit worried that how on earth is he going to revise when all his papers are shoved in a box, subjects all mixed together, all a big mess. And I thought, actually, he's got a revised guide book and a textbook. He doesn't really need to use his own notes to revise from. So hopefully that will mean he's okay. But we'll see. Now I am thinking, while I'm colouring here, that this page might actually look really nice if it was done in a gel pen, because it's quite a small, the areas are quite small and fiddly. I was thinking maybe you could use gel pens. I would think sparkle pens would look nice. Everyone likes a bit of sparkly glitter, don't they? Yeah, so sparkle pen, or just not on metallics would be nice too. Maybe I should have done that, but never mind. I'll next time. But yeah, it's I'm not liking this green at all. But anyway, we'll see how it develops. I need to add some more green, I think, and then it might work. I don't know. Did I make the wrong choice? Who knows? We'll find out. But anyway, yes, it's been my husband not very well. He's got something called a back mouse. It's just like a hernia in your back, which pushes against a nerve, and obviously nasty. It gets sort of spasms, and so he's home. He can't work from home. He can't drive. It's too sore, but he can't really get up out of the chair without being in a lot of pain. Of car chairs, seats, chairs. And seats in cars are quite low, so it makes it really difficult. Can you still see? I hope you can still see. I can't see in my little screen on my camera whether you can see. I hope so. So he can't even work because it's really nasty. So I made him sit on a higher chair and put tables near him so he can put stuff down without having to bend down to the floor. But he was saying to the children, stay fit, don't, you know. I was like, I don't know if it's really a fitness thing, if it's more about just looking after yourself. Like when he was carrying the Hoover, which is really heavy, the vacuum, and what I do when I'm carrying it is I take the weight in my hand, in my arm, rather than trying to take it within my core or my back to look after my, I've had hernias myself, I've got a few issues I need to look after. So I'm sort of quite aware of doing that, being really careful, and you just have to be very thoughtful all the time when you're doing things like that, like even things like carrying shopping, I have to be very careful of. So I am, because I don't want to, I haven't got the time to not be able to do stuff, and even if I do get something like that, I have to just get on with it, which isn't particularly nice. But I can't take time off, so I just have to get on, as part of my job is looking after the family. So anyway, but I need to sort of just teach him how to lift it better and things like that. But anyway, so I think he'll be home for a while. The children are home this afternoon. They've just got a lesson this morning, so I thought I'd come in and record this nice and quiet, chill a bit, yeah. Now I'm always a bit unsure as to what to do with this little bit down here. So we've got this sort of big, sorry you can't see, nope, I've got a load of stuff in the way, I can't move my book on it. There we go. So looking at this bit, so we've got this basic plant bit, but here we've got a little bit on top with a few leaves. So I think what I'm going to do is do this in a green and this in a slightly different shade of green. Let's come in a little closer for you. I don't want to come in so close that I forget that I'm where I'm at. So I'm thinking maybe the bit in the front could be a little bit lighter or darker than the one at the back, or significantly actually. I'm just sharpening up my pencils. Which dark, which light? I'm thinking maybe the one in the front will be lighter, so I'm going to use this one, which is the it's the cicada, it says on it. I just can't see for looking. So use the cicada here, oops, on all these little leaves as well as this bit. And also on the one at the top, I'm just going to move it up so that I can do this, or else, as I say, if I don't do it all at the same time, I will forget what I used. I don't want to spend 3 hours swatching to try and figure out what I was doing. There we go. And then this one, which is the, which has got very little writing left on it. This is the fang green. Yes, so I'm going to use this for here. So now I realise we've got a black stem on this, but I don't need to go too dark. We'll still be able to see it through. There we go. Now on these leaves you could do a couple of colours in theory, but for me I just think they're too small. I'm sure some people will, but it'd be really interesting to see. Oh, I don't know how many of you were colouring along or colouring your planners. If you are, I've got this hashtag on Instagram, me and Elm Colours. We're working together on a hashtag for the whole year. So whenever you colour a planner page, whether it's the correct week or not, you can use our hashtag, and then you'll be able to see it. The idea is that all the people's planners pictures will be together in the same page, which is quite fun. So I'm racking my brains to try and remember what the hashtag is. But if you I will on Instagram, I will have already have, hopefully, or very soon will, put a post up telling you about this video, and in that post it will have the hashtag, so you'll be able to find it. And in any of my planner posts I use the hashtag. I tend to copy and paste it so I get it right, which means that because I don't type it, I don't remember it. But I think it's Johanna's Weekly Planner 2023 or something like that. But maybe I'll try and put it on the screen, although it won't be clickable. I'll make a note to do that. Hang on. Planner hashtag. Okay, there we go. So I'll make sure, I'll try and put it somewhere, probably in description for you. And as I say, it doesn't have to be this week's. If you're running a little bit behind already, or if you're dotting about in the book, I know some people go ahead rather than behind, so you can do that. So just share it and we can all have a little look at each other's. I think it's a really nice little thing to do. I was actually approached to be asked if I wanted to be part of it, which was really nice and kind. And I am very lazy, I don't do very much. I just look at people, I just look at who's used the hashtag and comment on their picture. That's all I do. Elm Colours, she'll often post them in her stories, but I don't. I should, but I don't. I don't actually, to be honest. My Instagram knowledge is a bit rubbish, and I don't know how to turn a post into a story. I guess you'd have to cut and paste the page. You'd have to screen grab, whatever it's called, the page or something. I don't know. And because I don't have a smartphone, I only have a tablet. It isn't quite, hasn't got all the functionality, I don't think. I don't know, or maybe I just don't know how to use it. I don't know how to do that. There we go, there's our top bit. We do this one the same. So, yeah, I hope you've all had a better start to your week than me. I'm feeling better now. They've gone off to college, there's nothing I can do. They've got to get on their own now. And he said to me it was the last piece of homework he'd have to hand in. I was confused by that. I'm going to clarify that. I mean, I don't know, maybe from now on it's revision. I don't know. But then surely they'll have to do past papers and things like that. I don't know, for homework. But anyway, seemed a little bit strange. Because it's, you know, we're not that, it's only January. Our exams are in May. But anyway, I don't know. I think they're trying to get through the whole syllabus before the mocks, although their mocks, I don't think they're on this bit that they're studying now. They're only doing a limited amount of papers. But there we go. I'm sure it'll all be okay. I'm sure they'll get the grades they need. But it's always a bit of a worry, and I'd have to try not to make them know that I'm stressed, which is really hard. Anyway, anyway. So I had quite a chilled weekend, which was rather nice. Went out on Saturday, spent a bit of my Christmas money, and didn't go out yesterday, Sunday. We always do our cleaning on Sunday, and so did that. My one boy helped me, the other one was doing homework, and husband tried to help but then hurt his back, so we had to finish. We nearly finished anyway, it was okay. And yeah, I did make a few videos, which was fun. Always fun. This pencil is getting quite small. My hand's getting a little bit of cramp. I do have some pencil extenders in here actually. There we go. Well, that's better. Yeah, so there I Skyped my parents. My niece was with them, so that was nice. She was doing some crochet. I asked her what she's making. She said squares. So yeah, I could see that. It's quite funny. Right, there's that. Okay, where should we go now? I'm thinking these leaves here. If we go in there with the brown, I'm trying to sort of balance the greens and browns really. And what colour is this? I think this is the tarantula. Sorry, not good for spider phobes. Is that the right word? Arachnophobes, that's the word. It's just a colour. I'm going to actually do a little bit of shading on this leaf. I've just noticed there's more than one of these. Now I have been asked about colouring the inside of the cover, the black cover. I have noticed that a set of metallic pencils that I have, which aren't a standard brand, show on the front of the packet that they colour on black. So I thought I might experiment with those. Can you see? Yeah. And I also noticed that the Staedtler design journey, which I was going to bring through and I haven't, on the front of there it shows them colouring on black. So I thought again that could be interesting. So I might have a bit of an experiment. I've actually coloured, I'm sure I've coloured the tiniest bit on the inside colour, just that bit. And I have no idea why I did that. I wonder if I did it when I did my flip through or something. I don't know. It's really odd. I just don't have no memory of doing it, but brain fog and memory loss is not quite common with me at the minute. I was trying to think of a word this morning. Oh my, it took me ages. But I thought it was getting better, but it seemed to have got to me again. I think it's just hormones and age and but I'm trying my hardest to try and remember things. I'm going to make this top one a little bit lighter so it stands out over the one behind. There we go. Do the same on this side. Yeah, I think it's I'm hoping it's just sort of menopausal type things going on rather than anything else. That's what I'm telling myself. And as I say, I try and work hard, so if I can't remember something I try not to look it up. I try to remember it because I think it's good for me to use that brain. And I need to get back to doing crosswords again. I stopped doing it while the kitchen was being done. We used to sit at the table on a Saturday and do crossword at lunchtime, and I actually crossed most of the weekend, different meal times. But we stopped doing that because when the kitchen was being done, we couldn't. Because we couldn't sit around a table. We were eating at the sofa and things like that. So we stopped doing it. So we need to get back into doing it again, getting our brains working. Some of the crosswords are quite difficult that we do. There's one in the supermarket newspaper that we pick up, freebie paper. That one's easy. I haven't done that one for ages. But we buy a magazine and the crossword in there is really hard. So that's probably the one. This is the lighter one, isn't it? That's probably the one that we should be concentrating on. It's got cryptic clues as well. And the cryptics I like to have a little look at, see if I can get one or two. Quite tricky. Yeah, I was just checking that I had done all of the bits that I was intending to, and I had. Yeah, cryptics, tricky. But some people are like, oh, never do them. But actually they can be fun if you, some of them are just anagrams. Or there's even a word hidden within some words in full side. So those are quite easy if you can figure them out. And I like they're almost like each clue is a little riddle. So the satisfaction of solving it is quite good because of them being more difficult as well. So that's nice. Sometimes I've even found them easier than the normal crossword, because some of the clues on the normal crossword, they're like place capitals or sorry, I've got an itchy eye, or Greek mythology, things that I don't know much about, or names of artists. My general knowledge is quite limited, but it's growing, which is the whole point, of course. But my boys are quite knowledgeable in certain areas that I'm not, like history, for example. They're much better at than me. So that's good. They can help out with those little bits. Okay, we've got one last section to do on this particular colour. So, yes, I need to keep pushing my brain. But apparently doing new things really helps. But I'm rubbish at doing new things. Last time I started a new thing was colouring, 2013. I guess I sometimes use new materials or techniques. Perhaps that counts. I don't know whether you have to do something completely new. Like learn a new language or something, which I know some people really like doing. I'm so rubbish at remembering the words, you know, the vocab. My memory's never been brilliant anyway. I've always struggled with languages because of that reason. But my one son did Spanish at GCSE level when he was 16. He did quite well. His vocab was good. We did find him a little app to help him with his vocab. Right, I'm just looking here and thinking where to go next. We've got these side bits here I think I'm going to do next. I think I might grab a green for that. We've only got one green left and it's quite a bluey green. It's everglade. We'll use that one. You could use, if you wanted a more conventional green, you could dig into a different pencil set, of course. I sort of decided that I'm just going to stick with this set. I'm still thinking it looks a bit too random, but yeah, we'll see how it finishes up in the end. Ooh, that's not much fun, is it? I've got three leads on my desk now that have broken out of pencil. Purple, a green and a red. I don't know what set's from. It's because I don't clean this desk very well. It's really hard to clean in here because the chair takes up most of the room. This is wobbly, this lead. Do you persevere, the wobbly lead, or do you just knock it out and resharpen? I tend to persevere for a little while, unless it gets really annoying. But this is fine now. I think as long as if you're putting your pressure in the right direction, then you can, it's okay. I'm just going to try and work out where that stem is there. Actually, it's a bit fat, this lead, for doing that tiny stem. So I should just do all the leaves. Now this bit is only on the left and right, it's not the top and bottom. As I say, the symmetry only goes down the middle, not across as well. Though I notice with some of Johanna's pictures, if she's got like a wallpaper design, she'll sometimes take bits, no, it's not going to work, and turn them round. That's quite interesting. I probably should be using my dowel sharpener to for this. Sometimes it needs a hand crank. That's better. I'm going to just do this bit. Maybe I'm not. I've not had this happen with a black widow before. I'm wondering if it's my sharpener. If it happens again, I'm going to get my other sharpener. But it might just be that I'm pressing too hard. Feels okay now. I'm going to do these thin bits while I've got a sharper end. Easier to stay in the lines when it's not so blunt. I'm also going to do the bit over here as well, the thinner bit. So I spent most of my weekend actually reading a book, so that was interesting. I don't read very much. I bought myself a book with my Christmas money, and my mum and my sister want to borrow it after, so that's good. I shall pass it on that I've read it. It was about 400 odd pages, but I'm a very quick reader. If I'd sat down from morning to evening, it probably would have only taken me one day, but I had things to do, so it took me two. Yeah, I think I've always been a quick reader. My mum is too. My husband's slow. I don't know about the boys. They're fairly fast, actually. They're quite... Actually, sometimes they're faster than me. They're really quick. So my husband says you skim read and don't read every word. I'm not aware that I skim read. I'm sure I do read every word. I just read them very quickly. But when he reads, he actually reads the words out loud in his head. I can't understand that. I don't do that. So he sort of reads out loud at the same speed he reads in his head. I don't read much faster in my head, about 4 times faster, I would say. So that's probably why he's slower. As I say, I don't really understand that method of reading. Why would you do that? But maybe people can't help it. Maybe we all just have different ways. I don't really know. I've never looked into it. But it's not a very good way of remembering. If you want to remember what's in a book, reading it really fast isn't a good idea. But when it's just a book that you're reading for fun, then why not? I am aware that we haven't finished the one on the other side, and I've just started this side. But I've never looked at any research on that, on reading speed. I know there are courses on how to speed read, and it tells you about, you know, scanning and looking for keywords and sentences and things like that, but I've never needed... I've always thought that was quite strange. Why do you need to do that? Just read fast. But obviously, I think it's quite hard for us to understand each other sometimes. Because we're all so different. But yeah, my boys used to... I remember when they were learning to read, there was a certain book they got stuck on when they were learning. I didn't teach them to read before school. We were actually told not to. Let school teach them, okay. And then they would send home books for the first... When they start school in September and until Christmas, they would send only books home for us to read to them. So, and some parents were getting really frustrated, going, my child can read, why can't we have a reading book? But school wanted to make sure that the children had understood the principles of reading that they wanted to teach them before parents had it. And we actually had classes on how the children were being taught to read and sound out the letters and things like that, so that we could teach them using that technique. I found that quite difficult to know how to remember how they were teaching it, but the children used to tell me how they were doing it, so that was quite useful. And also my mother-in-law used to help out in the school and read with the children, and so she knew, so that was helpful. But their most difficult book, anyone in the UK will know if they've got kids of a certain age or grandkids, the Magic Key series, and the one book called The Shell Shop, that was the hardest, because it was the first time they'd had to start sounding out double letters, so the sound of shop and shell and ship and things like that, and they found it so hard. We used to get a book a week, and I would read it. I'd make them read it to me every day. We might not always get through the whole book, but we would keep reading it every day until it was changed. And most books, they could read the first day, they would read it all, and they would just keep reading it and rereading it, and they would know it back to front. So they would know it off by heart because we'd read it so many times. But this one, and also they used to, they didn't always get given the same book, so I would swap them over and they'd read each other's books. But this one they both struggled with so much. By the end of the week, neither of them could properly read it all still, and they found it so hard. And yet they were then given the next book along, and it was much easier. And they did fine. They seem to get a little bit ahead in their reading compared to other children in the class, but of course most children, once they leave primary school, they're all at a pretty much same reading age anyway, you know. Mine just happened to be a little bit quicker. I think partly because I read with them every day and read them bedtime stories every night, and some parents don't have the time to do that. I know my friend didn't have the time to do that with her daughter because she was going to work herself. She didn't get home that early. By the time she got home, her daughter was tired. Now this bit here looks the same as this bit in here. That little bit there looks like that bit, so I'm going to do that bit the same colour as that bit. I couldn't remember what colour it was. I'm pretty sure it was stinkbug. So I'm going to do this one in stinkbug. I thought it was getting lighter because I had delayed coming to make this video until it got light. It's really dark again now. It's very strange because I thought we were forecast frost and sunshine today, although some forecasts had said rain. Snow, sorry. I can do this one this side as well. But it's really dark. The clouds don't look snow-like, but I'm not a meteorologist. I wouldn't know for sure, but normally you can sort of tell. I don't know. Probably people who live in really snowy places like Scotland probably can tell better. But right, that's that. Now where to go? We've got these we'll do next. I've got some dark browns, but I don't really want to do those. I could do yellow or quite close to yellow. I'm thinking I'm going to use this green. What was that? The toxic green. I'm going to use it again because I like it. Why not? Oops. Just colour out the lines. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with the weather, whether we're going to get snow in a minute. Hopefully the boys will be able to get home. As I say, they're coming home at lunchtime, so it should be okay, and on a main road. And the main roads around here don't tend to get really covered in snow unless it's at night, because there's a lot of traffic moving on them all the time. So hopefully it will be well. They're far too far away to walk back. It's about 10 miles, I think. I mean, I know it's doable, but really, they've only got little trainers on. So I'm sure it'll be fine. like always, I'm just stupidly worrying about nothing, I'm sure. That's something that colouring usually distracts me from, but I'm just looking out that window at that dark sky. I'll have a proper look in a minute when I finish this. Go and have an examination of the sky. My husband's quite good with that, and he's quite good at, he used to be a gardener, so he's quite good at looking at the sky and analysing the weather. I used to do that a lot. Obviously, if you're working outside, I guess there's certain jobs you might need to do when it's dry or warm or whatever, I guess. Okay, let's do this one. What time is it? We've been going on for ages. Oh well, we'll get it finished. I don't want to make this into a little series. I think we'll just finish it. We've not got that much left to do. My stomach's gurgling. I don't know why. It's not that long since breakfast, Tommy. It's only 9:30. Get a coffee though after this. Or maybe a tea. And probably a coffee. Oh, husband's on the move. I can hear the floorboards creaking next door. It's very loud. Our floorboards, they're not proper floorboards, it's just hardboard. So it's very creaky. I think it's potentially just the age of the house, don't know. But it's okay. It does, we've got a very creaky one just at the top of the stairs, which annoys my one son, because if I get up early at the weekend and I try and creep downstairs, I always stand on it and it wakes him up. But my other boy is even lighter sleeper. I just have to get out of bed and he wakes up. So I have to, if I wake up early on a weekend, I try and stay in bed and be quiet and not get up and try and creep out downstairs. But my husband on there is such a deep sleeper that I can get up on a morning, get in the shower, which is an ensuite bathroom. I tend to leave the door open as well, so it's quite loud. Brush my teeth with my electric toothbrush, and he doesn't even stir. So it's interesting. Sometimes he wakes up if he's ready. If he's tired, he just sleeps through all that. And then he'll come down about an hour or two later and go, "Did you get up?" "No, I'm still in bed." Oh dear. I'm always an early riser. I just like getting up early. As soon as I sort of wake up, my mind's full of what I'm going to do in the day, so I want to get up. So it just means that I go to bed early and then I get all my sleep. So I usually tend to tuck down about 10, and then I might wake up about 5:30. Don't usually get up. I don't get up till 6:15. But it's a very bad practice. Have a tablet by the bed so I can get onto Instagram early, have a little look at my comments on my videos and things like that. It's always fun, I think, anyway. I don't do anything, some people, I do look at the news headlines as well, which is probably the thing I shouldn't do. It's not healthy, is it, to be looking at the news? Although this morning I was checking the tennis results because it's the Australian Open, and we've got a few Brits playing. I think one of our British girls got through the first round, which was good. But our players have got some tough draws actually. I think our up-and-coming young chap is playing the defending champion, but he says he's quite confident, which is good. But he's not cocky, but he's just like, he's been doing quite well, and he says he's got to go into the match confident, thinking he has a chance of winning. And it sort of depends on how well his opponent plays, I guess. You've got to go in and do your best and hope. Right, these two, I think I'm going to do a bit of yellow. So we've done a little bit of yellow, but not much. Let's do a little bit more. This is the, I think it's the banana. It is, it's a banana. It's a banana. Now because it's yellow, I'm not going to, I would normally do it a bit darker at the bottom of the leaf and lighter at the tip, but because it's yellow, I'm just going to put it down because I find if you fade it, you can't really see it. So let's do that. And then we'll do the same at the top. So a little bit of this. It's quite hard when it goes off the edge of the paper, isn't it, I find? But it is what it is. It's no different to doing a background when you have to go over the edge of the paper. Whoops, book's going everywhere. Hold it down. And you can sort of decide when I'm done whether you like these colours, whether you want to go for something of your own, whether you want to go mad and do pinks and purples. I think it might look better, to be honest. I don't think I know that it would have looked better, I think, in pinks and purples. These two I want to do in green. I've got two different greens. I'm going to use this really light green, which is the cicada. Oops, that's my arm. As I say, you could use a different shade of green if you wanted to dig into your other pencil sets or other Black Widow sets, you know. Black Widows has a lot of greens, so I gather. So that's rather good. Oh, I saw some news this morning about Sarah Rennie Clark. She was sharing actually in her newsletter her Colour Cube companion. Now, I don't know how many of you have the digital colour catalogue, so it's not Colour Cube, the Colour Catalogue companion, so her digital version of the Colour Cube. I don't have it yet. I do plan on buying it. I just want to use my cards a bit more first. But anyway, she the companion tells you what colour pencils you need to use. So for your colour card, where you get the colours, you can match it up. Now, I think in some ways that makes it much easier, but in other ways I quite have a bit of fun doing it myself. But anyway, it's got at the moment polys and prismas, as you would expect, and I'm trying to think what else there is. I don't think it's got Black Widows. It's got some pens, a hoo-hoo, markers and things like that. Anyway, I can't really remember. But she's adding a couple of new. She did this poll, what ones did people want? And apparently the top two, which she's going to do, I think she said were Arteza Expert and Castle Arts Gold. So I think it's a shame it's the gold because I use the soft touch more. But anyway, right, we are now almost there. We've got these to go. Got something behind here, and I'm wondering whether to do that colour. I think I will, so it sort of ties up with that matching there. So, oh, but we've used it there, haven't we? Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll use this one. Maybe we'll use the this is the fang green instead. So we're not using the same one twice. I mean 3 times. But I was quite interested that people more people wanted the gold, because I would have thought more people would have the soft touch because of them being an older brand. So that's interesting. I find the colour range in the gold a little bit odd. I only have the 72, whether it's a bit different in the 120, but maybe with the cards it helps. Don't know. I'm just wondering what that is there. Now I'm going to use this colour, the toadstool, for the last bit, for this bit. Can you see? Yes. I think it sort of bridges that gap a little bit between the yellow, brown, greens. I'm going to use it for this little one as well. Just because there's so little of it. There we go. Now I've got this side, smooth across a little bit. Seems to be a bit less on this side. It's not quite central. I think it's probably central on the paper, but because of the rings, it sort of isn't. That made a lot of sense, didn't it? There we go, and I think we are done. Let's pull out. Now my main aim for this page was to have the ladybird standing out, and that has certainly been achieved. We've used quite a lot of different colours. Look, oops. Oops, there they all are. So we used a fair few. Yeah, I think it's okay. As I say, I think had I gone down the pink, purple, blue route, I think it probably would have looked better. I think also maybe had I started dark and gone light, or done browns, yellows, oranges, or greens, browns, yellow, oranges, a sort of more pattern. I think it's a bit random. I think that's why I'm not liking it. My eyes don't know where to go. The ladybirds draw my eye, which was the point, but nothing else. It's all a bit of a mishmash still, even though I stuck to a limited palette. So anyway, that's my view. But there's that. Thank you for watching. If you stuck with me, crikey, nearly an hour. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a really lovely day and happy colouring.